better be bringing your A game. Because she doesn't need no other kid to raise. She needs somebody who's there that's going to help her through it. Because if she's doing it all by herself already, she don't need you.
She fed the kids. Because you have to do way more than just one thing. You can't just go to a job, which you would be doing anyways if you were single, and then act like you are absolved of all responsibility for your entire family. That is not how parenting works, and women can make their own money. So yeah.
Nothing. I wasn't DMing anybody. I wasn't flirting with anybody. My whole entire pregnancy, literally up until I met the guy I'm seeing now.
I used to not take dating serious or would be very nonchalant in dating because I had this limiting belief that I was just unworthy of a worthwhile relationship.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at single mothers who are trying to date. Now, of course, the problem with dating as a single mother is that oftentimes men don't want to date you at all. Well, fear not, guys, because we have here a woman who's going to instruct us on how to date a single mother. Now, my advice, my suggestion to men would be, don't. But this woman has a different perspective, and we're going to be kicking it off with her. But guys, before we jump into today's episode of Single Mothers, don't forget to go and subscribe to Lock the Bounty Hunter for sending us today's clips to cringe at. I'm going to leave his channel linked in the pinned comment. And without further ado, let's just jump right in and take a listen to what some of these women have to say.
This one goes out to the men. If you're going to date a single woman and she has kids, you better be bringing your A game. Because she doesn't need no other kid to raise. She needs somebody who's there that's going to help her through it. Someone she can depend on. So she's not, because if she's doing it all by herself already, she don't need you.
Great. So we're already, 25, 26 seconds into this video. And already it's sounding like an absolutely fantastic deal for the man. So the man, upon entering into a relationship with you, the single mother, his reward is that he has to step up, he has to take care of you and kids that are not his own. Now, I don't know any self-respecting man that would want to do this, that would have any desire at all to enter into such a relationship. But notice how all of these relationships, guys, they think that they're not even coming from a deficit. You have these single mothers who think that somehow it's a gift for a man to enter into a relationship with them. And there are so many problems with it, not least of which is the fact that you will be priority number 57 that is treated like dirt. It's amazing how these people, they view it as some sort of privilege for the man to be able to help them.
She needs somebody who's there that's going to help her through it. Someone she can depend on. So she's not, because if she's doing it all by herself already, she don't need you.
Okay, so if she doesn't need the man, then what's the problem? It's really interesting how it's it's always strong and independent, and I don't need no man, okay? But if a man enters into her life, oh, well, he better bring the A game, right? Sounds a little bit contradictory here, right? So, I'm sorry, I thought you didn't need a man, but if a man dates you, he has to bring his A game? Really, really kind of strange how this works, and all of these strong and independence kind of flies out the window when we need something from a man. And which, by the way, if you're a single mother, make it work with the original father. Okay, I don't care. Oh, he's such a bad person. He's terrible. He's got all these red flags. Great. You chose him. So what's the issue? Go back, sort it out with him. And the problem is, a lot of these women, they're encouraged to make these terrible decisions because they get money out of men, or they get money out of the government that allows them to make such stupid decisions with their lives. There was once upon a time, guys, where single mothers were actually shamed, right? I know, and still, in certain parts of the world, it's very much shamed, but here in Western society, this is something that is actively encouraged. And you know, these are kids which, I don't even say this as a joke, these are kids which grow up without a father, which of course is very sad. Like, I'm not even saying that to be funny at all. It's a very sad situation.
She's choosing to be with you. If she chooses you, then you better man up and you better be the person she needs you to be.
What,
Otherwise,
bro?
she has no problems leaving you and doing it all on her own. Just a fact.
Yeah, man up, right? That's the message of the decade, isn't it? Really, man up. Men need to do this. Men need to do that. For what? For what? If you're okay being single, hey, enjoy being single. Knock yourself out, right? But just absolutely disgusting, right? We're expecting men to come into our lives and to step up. This just like, it's such childish behavior where it's like, oh well, if someone enters into my life, they have to do all this and solve all my problems for me and blah blah. It's like, what person wants to join, like, to get into a relationship with another person, and their reward for doing it is just a whole host of troubles and baggage? I don't know, man.
Leaving you and doing it all on her own. Just a fact. Because too many of you men want somebody to take care of you and rescue you from your problems rather than you manning up and dealing with your stuff yourself. And more of us women have decided that we're not taking that excess. And if we have to do it, we'll just do it ourselves.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
Have you guys noticed that some of my videos have gone missing over here on YouTube? That is because I am slowly moving them over to locals where I can actually host them without the risk of getting in trouble. If you are not aware, many creators are starting to move over to places like locals, Rumble, etc. because YouTube is not really a free speech platform. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and getting access to videos that are no longer available here, make sure that you come and join us over on locals. The link will be in the video description down below. Supporters get access to their own exclusive videos that are no longer available to the public. So make sure you go to the link in the description and join us over there now. But anyway, guys, back to today's episode. Wait, so get this, okay? If a man needs help with his problems, not even necessarily kids, she didn't even say kids here, but if a man needs help with his problems, well, all of a sudden you're rescuing him, right? And like, the position is you're being his mother, right? You're taking care of him and you're saving him. But if a man comes and tries to help you solve your problems, oh, well, that's just him manning up. Make that make sense to me, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the rationale that you have to go through in order to get to this is actually astounding. Like, the level of cognitive dissonance that you have to have in order to make statements like this, absolutely crazy. So in order for you to help with a man's problems, which again, I don't know what problems this woman would ever be capable of helping with, right? And the reason why I say that is because people who are single mothers oftentimes have very poor decision-making capabilities, right? So, you know, her coming into a man's life and helping solve his problems, I doubt that's a thing. But if she did, she's treating it as rescuing him. But if a man comes into her life and helps her, oh, well, that's just expected, right? Because he has to man up and bring his A game. I think sometimes when I watch these videos, it's like I just throw up in my mouth as I listen.
Of us women have decided that we're not taking that excess. And if we have to do it, we'll just do it ourselves because we're sick of the excess baggage. We're sick of trying to do everything for everybody else and being treated like we're crap and not appreciated.
It's really weird that she brings up baggage, right? She doesn't want that excess baggage. Newsflash, madam. Neither do the men. The men don't want your baggage, and your baggage are quite literally real. You literally have kids that do not belong to the man that's coming into the relationship. Like, in other words, for a man to enter into a relationship with you, he has to take care of kids that are biologically not even his. Or like maybe, you know, one kid, whatever. So a kid plus, right? A man has to come in and to take care of biological offspring that are not even his own. And on top of that, it's something that's expected, right? It's not like, well, technically speaking here, madam, you're actually the one who would be rescued. If a man comes along and he helps you, you're the one being rescued. But she's positioning it, though, as though it's some sort of like privilege because, you know, she's dedicating her time to you, and so, she's not even dedicating time to you. She's just viewing it as a privilege, and that's just insane.
So it's one of those things that if you can't do what you need to be doing,
need to be
we'll better
interesting.
ourselves one way or another with or without you. So the decision's really yours of whether you can man up and be the type of person that you should have been already, and instead of wanting everything handed to you on a silver platter. Life ain't like that.
I'm not gonna even say anything. Let's keep going.
For anybody. You get what you sow what you reap. Or you reap what you sow. Sorry. Pardon my fibro twisting words today in my mind. But it's definitely where you all need to decide what you really want. And a lot of you men have not figured out what you really want in life. And you need to have goals and stuff like that before you ever come after a single mother with kids. I'm just saying, because...
Yeah, so what she means by this, by the way, when she says you need to have goals, is not necessarily like the whole career thing, you need to have money. What she's referring to here is, if you start talking to her, you need to be ready to commit. And see, that's always the problem, isn't it, right? Because it's all very well and good to treat men like crap. It's all very well and good to chase the bad boys for a decade or two, or maybe even 3, okay? But what's not good, and what lies at the end of the road for a lot of these women, is the time when you start needing help, right? You need finances, you need stability, you need a place to live. You need to not be embarrassed every time you go to a social function, so you can't say that you're single anymore because it's cringe, right? You actually start needing, what's that? Commitment from a man. Okay, so this is how you end up with videos like this of, oh, I'm sick of men not knowing what they want, right? Men need to be more this and that. Men know what they want. Men don't want to date you. It's really quite simple. And the problem is that the men who do want to date her, she doesn't want. You see, that's always at the crux of these videos, right? Is even women like this who are so demanding, and I don't mean to just straight up insult this woman, but she's not very attractive, right? Girls like this will still get men in their DMs. The problem is it's never the men that they want. Right? It's always the guys who, you know, they're not attracted to. Or, in this woman's case, you know, the only dudes, probably, you know, they're probably not attractive to her also now. But they're just dudes who are not interested in committing at all. And they don't have a reason to. And it's funny because women get to this age and they've never had to keep around a man with anything other than how they looked. But the problem is when you're 40, you can't keep men around like that anymore. And if you've got no personality and you're a bad person, it's going to be very hard to keep around a man. A lot of these women, they rely on nothing but their looks, and then when the looks fade, they're in a hell of a lot of trouble.
As if you don't have goals that you really want in life, and you need to have goals and stuff like that before you ever come after a single mother with kids. I'm just saying, because if you don't have goals, you obviously don't stand a chance in the get-go anyway. It's like that.
So I just seen it.
Damn, guys, don't you feel as though you're missing out? You know, and it's amazing how women like this, again, they're just like salespeople, man. They're just trying to sell you something that's terrible, that's going to break down in 2 seconds, and yet they've sat there and they've convinced themselves that it's actually a good deal for you to buy. You know what I'm saying? This is like a dude coming on here who's like, I don't know, who's in and out of prison, right? Who's an addict, who has no friends, right? And who smells bad. And he's like, bro, why aren't the supermodels dating me? You know, why can't the women just step up and do what they're... Why can't I get a damn sandwich? And it's like, bro, you're in and out of prison. You know, you do substances on the side. You've got no friends. And you weigh 50 kilograms. It's like, you know what I'm saying? All the girls would look at that guy and be like, what the hell are you, you know, I'm not making you no damn sandwich. But you have girls that are like this, literally single mothers, 40, 50 plus years of age, trying to demand that men step up for them. Oh, hell no. Let's continue into the next clip. And guys, again, don't forget to go and subscribe to Lock the Bounty Hunter. I'm going to leave his channel linked in the pinned comment, guys, for, again, putting together these clips for us to cringe at. So without further ado, let's continue. And again, I don't know what these women say. I haven't seen these clips yet ahead of time. Let's jump into the second one here. We've also got this one lined up as it'll load in a second. Man, it's always the videos in their car, isn't it? It really is. So let's jump into the second one here if I can actually time it right.
His wife felt like she was a single. And his friend was like, yeah, I can see that. And his two friends were like, how can you say that when I'm working? And he said, well, my mom had a boyfriend for 17 years and that dude never did anything for me. He didn't go to my games or nothing. And so the guy said, if you had to choose between someone coming to your games or eating, which would you choose? And here's the thing. That's not enough when you're parenting. And he didn't even feed that you didn't feed him. You made money. She fed the kids. Because you have to do way more than just one thing. You can't just go to a job, which you would be doing anyways if you were single, and then act like you are absolved of all responsibility for your entire family. That is not how parenting works. And women can make their own money. So yeah, she's a single mom. Do better.
Okay, so I didn't listen to the first part of this. I'll be honest, I was checking my phone. You know, and then she kind of devolves into yelling at whoever's watching here. Again, these are videos posted on TikTok, by the way. So she's literally just recording in her room, yelling at people, yelling at her audience. This is fantastic. But if you can make money on your own as a single mother, hey, knock yourself out. Join the workforce. See you later. Do it all by yourself. See how it goes. Right? And a lot of these women actually, it's kind of, I say that, but they get money from the government. So a lot of them don't actually have to work. But you know, try and do it all yourself. See how it works out. You don't want no man. You're strong and independent. You don't need no guy working. You expect him to work as well as prepare the food. You want to do it all by yourself? Hey, knock yourself out. You have fought for such liberation. You are more than welcome to it, madam. But holy hell, look how angry she gets here, man. What is this? Listen.
Of all responsibility for your entire family. That is not how parenting works. And women can make their own money. So yeah, she's a single mom. Do better.
You know, sometimes when I see these clips, guys, right, a lot of you guys have left comments like, oh, Taylor, you're so nice to these women, man. Like, why are you so nice to these girls? And trust me, guys, when women say crap like this, there are some things that I would like to say, but honestly, I just get instantly banned off of YouTube. You know, like people like this are just absolutely not it, man. Better to avoid entirely. Completely avoid. Let's jump into this next one here. Dating as a single mother, and of course we got one of the car videos. The hands are already clapping together. Let's take a listen.
My most asked question as a single mom is when I felt comfortable to start dating, so let's unpack. If you're new here, my name's Caitlin. I'm a single mom. My baby is 6 months old. I have been single since I found out I was pregnant, which was a year and a half ago now. Yeah. I started seeing somebody at the end of June. Y'all, when I tell you I had lost all hope. I had lost all hope in love. I had no desire. The desire was not there. Like, I know that there's men that date pregnant women, and there's pregnant women who, like, you know, put themselves out there to date, but there was no way I was doing that. Honestly, even right before I met the guy that I'm seeing now, I never had a desire. I wasn't seeking anything at all. This really just happened randomly.
Isn't it amazing how you can have women who literally are in the process of having a child to another man, and dating is still so damn easy for them that some guy is just willing to have a relationship with her while she's pregnant. Now, I don't know. I say this facetiously, of course, but I don't know what kind of man would be interested in dating such a woman. But, you know, good luck to this young soldier. I'll say that. Okay, because dudes who get themselves into situations like this, who think that it's a good idea to date single mothers, they eventually realize that it was indeed a very bad idea. Let's keep going.
And honestly, I feel that's the best way to approach it. I just spent as much time as I could being okay with just me, especially during my pregnancy. I didn't even have my baby yet. So I literally was forced to sit with my thoughts, with myself, not go out on dates, not entertain anybody. I literally was not receiving a single text message from a guy. Like,
Stop the cap.
While you're enjoying this video, make sure you subscribe to me and our fellow Fiend Gang members. You can find their channels linked in the video description. If you like my videos, make sure you go check out Warg the Detective, Hidan the Mummy, and Locke the Bounty Hunter, and subscribe to their channels in the description down below. Now back to the video.
Nothing. I wasn't DMing anybody. I wasn't flirting with anybody. My whole entire pregnancy, literally up until I met the guy I'm seeing now.
Okay, I never believe this, right? There's like the rare woman who does this, who's very, very rare. I don't believe this. If you have a girl who's talking about her dating experience, if she's like vocal in any way on the internet, you know, like these public Instagram accounts, more than like 50 followers, okay, like family and very close friends, hell, 50's even pushing it. These girls who are like, yeah, I'm not talking to any dudes, no dudes in my DM, yet they're sitting here ranting on TikTok with like, I believe this is a neck tattoo as a single mother. I just don't buy it. This whole idea of like, oh yeah, I've been celibate for like 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 1.5 years, 2 years, whatever. I simply don't believe it. Yeah, there's probably some woman who lives out in the middle of the woods who doesn't have social media anymore who has done this, sure. But it sure as hell isn't a single mother on TikTok with a neck tattoo. You know what I'm saying? Like, at a certain point, it's like, how gullible are you? I haven't been talking to any dude, you know, all my messages are empty, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it just, the math ain't mathing, madam.
Yeah, I wasn't flirting with anybody. My whole entire pregnancy, literally up until I met the guy I'm seeing now. I always used to think that this was BS when people said this, but seriously, when you know, you know. Because I spent so much time alone, I really, really trust myself. I trust my decision making. I trust my ability to read somebody and to get to know somebody and to know if that person is for me or not. And I obviously have to think about my son, and I just cannot be wasting my time, so I was not interested in that, and he came strong and very intentional.
Isn't it funny how like whenever women have a kid, right, or they get to like 30 or 40, some women it's 30, some it's 40, some they never even get to it, but at a certain point they feel as though they've manifested these powers, right, of like, oh, I can tell a man's intentions now, and I'm gonna be super scrutinous of any guy who enters my life. But you weren't scrutinous about the dude that you had a kid with. You know, like we just had a kid with, I don't know who the hell this guy is, but you know, the guy who comes subsequent, the man who actually has to take care of the kid, oh, he has to come direct, right? He has to be a good man. He has to have morals, and he has to be in it for the long haul, right? But the guy you had a kid with, these things don't seem to matter, right? We only develop the having an epiphany of what we really want after we've done our healing and our self-reflection. But really what it means is we basically just need a guy to come save our backside. That's what it really means.
Literally, before I even went on the first date with this guy, I'm like, what would life look like with him? It sounds crazy, but as a mother, you have to think about stuff like that. Me personally.
Yeah, you know, you can't think about that before you hook up with some dude, right? You have to think about after you've had a kid. You see, this is where we go completely wrong, right? It's all really well and good to engage in hookup culture and to have fun with dudes and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we never consider the consequences. But now that we need something, oh, the man has to be stable. What's my life going to look like with him? These girls in their early 20s, they don't care when they're going to the club what their future looks like with the particular guy. They're just looking to have fun for that night. They're looking to go over to some dude's house that they don't know. Okay, now I don't know if this woman had like a year or 2 or 3 a relationship with this particular guy, but the fact remains he's not in the picture anymore, and now we're hunting for a good man.
Personally, I feel that because I have my child to think about. I'm like, I'm the primary parent of my child, so like, what does he look like as a father? What would that look like? How, like, what's the vibe? What's the energy I get from him? What does his life look like? You know, like before I could even ask certain questions, I just had to look and see, like, is this going to be worth my time and my child's time?
It was probably much better to approach dating with this sort of a mindset to begin with, right? Had you actually looked at dating something more like this, you probably wouldn't be a single mother. Or if you were a single mother, you know, you wouldn't be a single one. You'd be just a mother because the father would be around, because you would actually select a good guy who's going to stick around, or you're not going to kick out, A lot of these women, they try and position it, by the way, as though the dude just leaves, when in actual fact, in a lot of these situations, what happens is the woman just ditches the dude. Right? Like, I'm so sick of hearing this story of like, oh, you know, he's a deadbeat dad and he didn't want to see his son or his daughter or whatever. And then you go out there and you speak to the father and you come to find out that she ditched him and she's been holding the kids hostage the entire time. And the guy can't even contact his kids. You know, you would be surprised, or maybe some of you guys in the comments wouldn't be surprised at how damn often that happens.
Time and my child's time.
Dating as a single mom can be so rough, or a single parent as a whole. I'm so thankful for therapy, because for the longest time I used to feel so unworthy of relationships, or thinking like, oh my god, I'm never going to find a partner because I have a child. I used to not take dating serious, or would be very nonchalant in dating because I had this like limiting belief that like I was just unworthy of a worthwhile relationship. I didn't want to set myself up for failure. Or
no, the reason why you didn't place any value on it is because you were just out there having fun and you weren't caring about the consequences. That, like, let's play that back. I'd start tuning out sometimes when these videos play, guys. It becomes, you know, becomes white noise to me at a certain point. But just really dodging accountability is what I sensed there. Let's go back and I'll actually listen this time.
Would be very, as I have a child. I used to not take dating serious, or would be very nonchalant in dating because I had this like limiting belief that like I was just unworthy of a worthwhile relationship.
Yeah, so we went from guy to guy. We didn't take dating seriously. We got with some strangers, you know, didn't really care, didn't vet the dudes, just wanted to go out there and have fun. And why? Oh, because we're a victim, right? Because I had a limiting belief. I didn't believe that I had the self-love within me, you know? Imagine, guys, right? You become this woman's boyfriend and her body count is like, I don't know, 97, right? And she's like, babe, don't worry. The reason why it's 97 is just because I had this limiting belief that I wasn't deserving of love. But now that I found you, and now that I have a kid that isn't yours, I believe I'm deserving of love, and I've been going to therapy. That is amazing. That is some mental gymnastics if ever I've seen some. Guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to Locke the Bounty Hunter. Again, I'm going to leave his channel linked at the pinned comment. And guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.